Okay, so Grilla has exited in a little bit of a sour tone. Um,
Yeesh.
what would Maeve do after that?
Um, she'd probably uh maybe spend some time cuddling with Pepper. Um, maybe tidy up her room a little bit, make sure her knickknacks are all in order. One of which I forgot to mention, she did put the mirror on her desk. Um,
Perfect.
yes. And then probably just wash up and go to bed early or early.
Sure thing. Oh, Scheiße. 1 second. And so, and so, um, well, when all those things happen, and you finally, after a long, fun but tiring night, lay your head to rest. Um, as you lie in your bed, ruminating on what had been, or really what could be, and why things are oddly difficult and perpetually unsure, despite all the things that you did at the festival. Um, you do eventually start to feel yourself drift off in exhaustion of it all. Then, the voices in your mind eventually quiet down. And just as sleep starts to take your consciousness, those voices become distant, unintelligible whispers.
Oh.
Okay. So, intelligible whispers, however, they are all encompassing, different inflections of the same timbre, gnawing at the back of your mind like an itch until you swear you hear a wake up right next to your ear. But you jolt yourself up and look around at the darkness. You see and now hear nothing but the ambience of your own bedroom and the beating of your own heart as it thumps in your chest. But you can't help but feel like you're not alone. A presence is lurking, strange, yet familiar. What would Maeve be thinking in this moment?
She's her mind is on the mirror and also on where the nearest knife is, which would probably be under her pillow.
Absolutely. As you start to reach for that knife, all of a sudden that sharp pain in the center of your brain returns. The sound of a high pitched ringing pulses in and out of your ears, and the pain grows and grows, and your gaze is drawn to your vanity desk. The combination of wanting the pain to stop and magnetism to the object that resides upon it is unbearable. What do you do?
I'm gonna go to it.
Okay. When you approach the mirror, it only gets worse, but the pain is somehow starting to become comforting to you in this moment now. Looking in the reflection, you see the expression of confusion and pain and irritability strewn across your face as it slowly starts to shift into a more pleasant, beautified, and proportional version of yourself. The reflective surface is cool to the touch.
I'm gonna try and put it down. See if I'm able to separate myself from it.
Sure thing. And you put it down, and your fingers sort of brush across the surface of the actual mirror itself. It reacts to your touch. Sort of like when you break the tension a little bit. It recoils and waves.
I think she's gonna try and smash it.
Okay. Interesting. So, when you take the mirror by the handle, grip it strong, you raise it up above your head, and you slam it down. It breaks. And then the noises stop. Then the mirror that is just above your desk, you can see your reflection once more. Normal. Make a wisdom saving throw.
That would be an 8.
Okay. As you look at yourself in the mirror, heavy breathing, you see the recoiling happening in that bigger mirror. And you see yourself with that beautified version once more, but this time almost like a flash of light across your face as it happens. And your hand goes up to touch it, and it reacts once more. This time, you grace your finger upon it, and try to pull away. It's like an extremely adhesive and gooey substance that ensnares your finger. What are you doing?
I am going to try and wrench my hand away and bring it back down in a fist to try and smash this mirror as well.
Sure, make a strength check.
Oh, fuck. That is a 2.
Oh, no. Okay. So, as you try to snatch it back and then bring your other hand forward and try to smash the mirror, try to pull away once more. It only gets worse. You try to pull and pull, but the grip is very strong and is pulling you in with greater force like a vortex. It travels up both of your arms, and pulling away now feels like trying to escape quicksand until you finally feel the grip of another hand from within the surface, the cold surface, hold tight and pull you once more, consuming your entire body as it is transformed or transported inside of the mirror. You're left with your room completely empty now, with no remnants of you. But as you come into consciousness, oh my gosh, I'm moving. As you come into consciousness, your throat and lips feel bone dry. It feels like you've been sleeping for days. Your hands and feet feel numb from the frigid temperatures that you can now start to feel around you, while the rest of your body has a dull soreness from the hard and smooth ground you lie upon. Head still throbbing and fuzzy, you start to open your eyes, seeing only a grayish light as they come into focus. You look around to see a great open landscape of dark gray, sharp, jagged protrusions of a stone-like reflective raw material, resembling some sort of wasteland that was created by a fierce battle that goes on for miles and miles as you wobbly start to stand on top of an elevated formation. Resembling some sort of wasteland, as I said before, the skies are a deep, smoky color with black clouds that glide overhead, and the only source of light in this desolate image is a dim light from a farce of a sun. Looking left, right, straight down, you can see the glassy form of your own reflection staring back in your nightwear. Pretty much everything is like very reflective, like flooring, if that makes sense. You can see yourself. And make a perception check for me.
16.
Okay. As you look around, it smells like salt. It smells like very strong salt, and it's extremely cold here. And then off in the distance, you see a faceless shadow of a figure standing completely still. And this figure is probably about 100 to 200 yards away from you down below. And though it remains unmoving, you can feel that it is staring back at you, wanting you. It is then that you can hear the whispers once more. But instead of them residing in your subconscious, they are now all around you as you travel. Voices of young and old, human, elf, and others alike that are familiar and unfamiliar to you as you are doing what?
I'm very slowly and cautiously walking forward, and I say, "What do you want from me?"
You find no answer as you continue to pass. Only this just very intuitive feeling that it just wants you to come forward. It is only after a little while that you notice these voices are coming from the scattered boulders and protrusions, and as your gaze lingers upon the ones that are near to you, you can almost see a scene playing out within the reflections, blurred and fleeting in and out of view. As you travel closer and closer to this figure, still your question remains unanswered. You try your best to keep your feet unscathed by the pieces of this shattered stony and glassy material. You draw nearer to the figure, and it is when you are about 20 feet away from it that it starts to evaporate. But slowly, it points a crooked finger to a jagged rock it was next to. As it disappears.
I'm gonna go to the rock and put my hand on it.
Sure thing. As you walk over, your attention drawn to the surface, you behold a clouded scene that slowly comes into focus. Sound from the image is heard, as well as the voices coming from it become clearer and more obvious to you. When you place your hand upon it, there's a flash of bright light, almost like you were flashbanged. And when your eyes readjust, you are no longer in the wasteland, but rather back in your own home. However, in your living room, it seems not what you had just left. The furniture is a little different. The paint on the wall is a little fresher. The cabinets are less worn. And then slowly appearing before you, on the floor, where the coffee table should be but isn't, is a beautifully decorated quilt with pink bows upon it and a baby with dark hair. On her back laughing and smiling, giggling, and kneeling before this baby is a younger version of yourself. As you can see your teenage self playing with a infant Elandrin. We're not an infant, more like probably 3 to 4 years old, actually. So not too young. It is then that you remember what this is from. You were asked by your parents to watch your sister for a couple of hours as they had to work at Diamond Deer Defense to upkeep everything. It's already been a couple hours and they should be home any minute. It is then that you hear a knock, knock, knock on the window in the kitchen. And as you're laughing and giggling, trying to make your sister laugh with you, your attention is drawn towards it. And your eyes light up as in the window you can see a younger Beau. Baby face back at it again, shorter hair, bright blue eyes as he's making a very funny face in the window. And you pat your little sister on the head as she sits up by herself and starts playing with her toys. And you rush over to the window as you say, "What are you doing here? You look so stupid. You know we have a door, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know. That doesn't mean I have to use it. Doesn't mean I have to be normal all the time." He flicks you in the head. "What do you want?" "I wanted to see if you were going to still send in your application." "Application for what?" "Well, to be an enforcer, of course. What, are you going to do more school? You fucking hate that shit." "Yes, I know. I'm just not quite sure with Landrin and my parents." "You know this already, you moron." Does he flick him back? He goes, "Well, I think you should. You know, like, what's the alternative? You just stay here and rot in Talon forever with your cats." You go, "I don't even like cats. I'm a rat person, you know that." So, as you're having this conversation, it continues. It goes, "Well, I'm just saying, else I'd be very, very, very lonely, maybe." "Don't call me that. I told you not to call me that." Like, why? Does that annoy you? Maybe. As you guys are now starting to play fight through the window, it is now that your parents walk through the door, a younger version of them now, with your mom having a bit of shorter hair, your dad's hair having a little bit more pepper than salt, with his clean shaven face. "Hello, darling." You quickly push Beau out the window and close it. "Hello, mother." "Hello, father. How was it? Everything." As you try to conceal what was just exchanged. "What were you doing?" Nothing. I wasn't doing anything." I was, "Oh, well, how's everything?" You're like, "Oh, everything's going great. And your father goes, "Where's your sister? She's down for a nap." And you go, "No, she's just right there." And you look over to the blanket. She isn't there. She was just right there. She was playing." And your mother goes, "Well, she's not there. What are you on about?" She takes off her shoes very quickly, and you can feel the panic rising. And your father goes, "Elandrin," and starts looking around the house. She goes, "Maven, I told you to watch her. Where is she?" And she starts looking around the house as well. Is then you hear a yelp from your mother as panic starts to rise in your body as you start to follow them. As the bathroom door is open, and you just remember in that moment that you were supposed to give Elandrin a bath and already filled it up. As your mother screams, "Elandrin!" and starts to take her out from the waters. Is now that it starts to fade when your mother, very rare, starts to scream at your younger self, berating you about how irresponsible you have been and how stupid of you it was to leave her unattended, and how you need to be more careful. There's another flashbang, and you're back in the wastelands. And the figure is now, you're noticing that the wasteland is actually broken up into different floating platforms of space, as the figure now appears before you and reaches out your shoulder as you teleport over to another neighboring floating island. And there's another rock before you with some more familiar voices. And there's another flash. And you're back in your living room once more. But now you're looking at the door as you see the figure of Drench and Tanji leave and exit the house. And your mother closing the door behind them is a very recent memory. As your father turns over to you and you turn over to him, and he goes to you. I told you not to cause anything with your aunt. And you go, well, she deserved it. And your father goes, I want you out by Halus 3. There's another flash. As once again, the same process again, the shadowy figure touches your shoulder and you're finally transported to another boulder, another flash. And this time, you're not in your home, but rather in the spectator's box in the city hall, in the trainer's booth. As you see a very astute-looking moon elven man with a clipboard and glasses at the bridge of his nose, as he's standing in front of Cesario, as he is looking out on a group of new enforcers training. We're not new enforcers, but it's another training season of sort of like the people who've been here for a while. My bad. And this moon elven man goes to Cesario. What? You applied for this individual to be headed into the ballot to be as lieutenant, and you retracted it? Yes, you see, after some further observations, I've seen there's not a lot of need or drive, passion to be fully transparent with teammates. I observed when we did the duels the other day, I just got an aura of independence. As you know, you say here in this continent, there is no I in team. And I was very confident. She's very intellectual, nimble, strong, fast on her feet, knows how to talk to people. I don't know. I didn't feel quite right anymore. Because I see. But there is a quota to fill. Who would you rather in her place, then? If you want my opinion, I would say Bo Eckhart. Has the charm, has the generosity as a team player. And seems like he's going to last a little bit longer as well. There's a sort of mentality you need to have in this line of business. And what is that, would you say, Mr. Montoga? A big heart. There's another flash as you go back to the wasteland once more. Each time you go through these scenes, go ahead and roll a straight d20.
A 1.
Roll one more time.
19.
Okay. Each one of these memories that you are seeing before you, more devastating than the last. You feel like the deepest, darkest parts of yourself are being resurfaced unconsensually. And you feel more of a tugging at the back of your mind. That writhing that maybe you've gotten yourself in your most vulnerable moments with yourself. Roll another d20.
A 20.
Okay. As you start to breathe, maybe try to convince yourself that none of it is real. You start to feel a little bit better, and as you open your eyes, you're still in the same place. But now the shadowy figure is in front of you, but next to it, about 10 feet away, is another huge vanity mirror. Roll d20 one more time.
3.
And as the last part of yourself fails on its death saving throw, you find yourself having no control of your body as it walks towards the mirror, your raw self in front of it, no filter, completely unperformative, as the shadow stands next to you now in the mirror, completely faceless, just a blob of a form. It rests his hands on your shoulder one more time, but now its touch warm and comforting. You feel that presence lean closer to your ear as it whispers, "You have made your burdens as forfeit. Your mind, your heart, I shall make them free." And that's all. Fade to black.
What? What do you mean that's all?
That's all. Fade to black. You lose consciousness.
Am I dead?
You'll have to find out next time.
Oh, God. That was horrific. I've got like another like 10 hours if you want before I pick it up.
No, that's all I got. That's all she wrote.
Oh.
Literally.